Hello everyone, I'm Daniel and today we're going to do some lovely art activities, okay? And today what we're going to make is rainbows and puffy clouds. Now you might think to yourself, what's a puffy cloud? Well, I'm going to show you, okay? So the first thing we do, we'll jump right in, is we draw our clouds onto a piece of paper. Now they're quite simply done. It's just like two big bubbles, okay? So draw your cloud. I've done these earlier. Okay, and what we'll need today is some PVA glue and some shaving foam, just simple shaving foam and normal PVA glue. We also need some food dye, and if you don't have food dyes, we can use blue paint, okay? Simple poster paints. I like to use the food dye as it gives a lovely color, okay? So what we do first of all is that we put our PVA into a bowl. Okay, put a generous amount in. Then we get our shaving foam, give it a good shake, and spray that into our bowl as well. Also be very generous with this. Okay, like such. Then we get our food dye. And we try not to use our hands with the food dye, so we can use a simple paintbrush or anything you can to put the food dye into your foam and PVA glue mix. Okay? Then we stir it about. We take our time, and slowly you will see the food dye start to take color in the foam. It doesn't happen straight away, so you've got to really, really mix it. And again, there's no rush. This is about having fun. Now, if you're worried about getting this on your hands, you can also use gloves like such. Or a lot of people, or students, like to just get stuck in and put the mixture straight onto their drawing. It's really up to you and what you're comfortable with. Okay, so I'm mixing my mixture. And I can see it's starting to look really, really good now. Okay? There's no real science about what ratio to put the PVA or the shaving foam in. Just do it until you get a nice consistency. And if you need to, you can add some more. Okay? Mix it up. And you want it to look really foamy. Or puffy, as I said before. Puffy clouds. Okay? So when that's all mixed, starting to look good, you can directly put it onto the clouds that you drew earlier, okay? And you simply layer it on to the page. Again, the longer you spend doing this, the better it's going to look. If you rush, it's not going to look that great. Okay? Now, I am being a real adult here and keeping my hands nice and clean, but you don't have to. Okay? And it's actually quite fun to do because it feels really soft and creamy. It's got a nice texture. That's a word we use a lot in art, is texture. And it's a nice way of saying the feeling of something, or maybe the way something looks. Now, there might be a tendency to taste this. Please do not. It is not for eating. It's just for looking at and having fun with. It does look nice though, doesn't it? Looks like ice cream. Okay, nearly done my cloud. Now I want you to do 2 clouds. I'm just going to do 1 as I'm demonstrating what to do. But you take your time and make 2 clouds. And if you need more mixture, it's just PVA and a bit of food dye and a bit of foam. Okay? Just one more little bit, and then we'll move on to the next part. Okay, so I'm very pleased how that turned out. And when I was at home, okay, you leave that to the side to dry. And when it dries, hopefully it will look better than this, but I rushed this one this morning just to show how to do it. But yours will look a lot foamier if you really apply the cream on and the mixture, okay? So that's one of your clouds. We'll come back to these later, because now we have a bit to do for the second part, okay? The second part is a rainbow. And this rainbow is very easy to do, and it's going to go between your 2 clouds, like so, okay? So the rainbow is simply drawn on a nice piece of paper, preferably card, and draw 2 circles. Doesn't matter if it goes over the top, at each edge, okay? And it doesn't have to be perfect either. And 1 at the bottom, okay? So when you cut this out, and if you're not ready to cut, you can always get an adult to help. Take your time and cut out the shape of the nice rainbow. Okay, put your scraps in the bin. It's always important to have a nice clean area to work on. Okay, so now there's 2 rainbows. I'm only going to use 1. And on this rainbow, what I like to do is glue the whole area with your Pritt stick. You can use PVA for this as well. Cover the whole area. Take time to do this, because if you do it correctly, your bits will go on nice and easy and they won't fall off. Sometimes people waste a lot of time by things falling off and not sticking right, but if you do it, just take your time, it'll work. Secondly, after you've glued your rainbow, I'm going to stick squares of paper or cardboard onto the surface of the glue. And this is called collage. And you can do it any which way you like. They're very easy to make. It's just card, different colors of card, together, and cut. Again, the adults can make these for you. If you cut right up on a strip, and again, you'll get your small pieces. And I have a lot of them that I like to take with me because I find them very, very useful. Okay? Then stick the collage pieces onto your rainbow. Again, take your time. The more time you take, the better this is going to look. Okay? I'm doing mine very quickly just to demonstrate. You can do all sorts of color, and your collage bits can even be glittery paper, shiny paper, okay? They can be anything. I've just done these little simple ones for today. All right, so I'm not going to do the full thing. The next step I'm going to do is take a little bit of PVA glue. So I'll put it in this little cup. And get your paintbrush. Add a little bit of water. Okay. And PVA glue over the top of your collage pieces, okay? Now you'll be doing the whole thing. I'm just doing the ones that we've done. And what this does when it dries, first of all, it keeps your pieces on the page, okay? And then when it dries, it's lovely and shiny, okay? So that's the rainbow. What you do then is get your dried cloud. This one will dry. It'll take a while for it to dry, but when they're dry, you simply add them to your rainbow. And you can use a simple staple gun or double-sided tape. Okay. Again, I'm rushing mine, but you can take time. And that is one part of your rainbow, okay? Doesn't have to be perfect as long as you're having fun, okay? So when the whole thing's finished and you've added your two pieces together, you have your fluffy cloud rainbow, okay? And that's our first activity done for today, okay? Thank you. Thanks for being such a good audience. Just going to sit this down here. Now, the next activity I've got is a really fun one as well. Now, what I'm going to do is just sit a bit of card down. Sometimes I like to do this as the table can be a bit distracting. And if you have a nice white surface, it's like you're ready to start afresh, okay? Okay, so this part is we take one of these gloves, we will supply these, and it's a latex-free glove, so you don't need to worry about any allergens or anybody allergic to it. And what we do in this one is we want to make it 3D, okay? So what I do, and there is a few ways to do this, but I think this one's the simplest, is that I like to use tissue paper and put directly into the hand. This is a little bit tricky, so adult supervision may be necessary. And you take your time and you feed the tissue into the hand, okay? Now this does take some effort, so don't expect to see results straight away. And as I always say, the longer you spend, the longer it's going to look. So stuff the whole hand with tissue. You can use ripped up pieces of newspaper, but I like to use tissue because it forms into the fingers and the actual hand shape, okay? So when you take your time and do the whole thing, all right, you will have something that looks like this, okay? And all you do is tie it at the top when you think you've stuffed your hand with the tissue paper enough, okay? This is your 3D hand, and this is the first part of making it look very realistic or funny, whatever way you want it to look, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I've pre-cut just simple tissue, pieces of tissue paper. And what you do is with PVA glue, I'm going to just put some more in here. With PVA glue, glue your hand, the whole thing. Okay? Glue the whole thing. And the more you put on, the better, actually. Then you get your little pieces of tissue paper that are just white tissue paper like this, okay? White tissue paper. Tear it up into small pieces. Again, the smaller the pieces, the better. And add them directly onto the hand. Paint each part down. This does take time. And a bit of patience. Stick each part down, okay? Now what this helps to do is it helps to harden the soft hand that you've made with the tissue so that it's easier to paint upon and decorate whatever way you like. Okay? Get in the fingers, take your time, show how you can concentrate really well. Okay? Keep doing that, and you should end up with one that looks like this. Okay? So I'm going to sit that in there. And you can get your paints. I'm going to use red. Okay. As you can see, the tissue has dried with the PVA glue and it's hardened the hand. Okay. You can do both sides of the hand if you wish, or you can just do one side. And then it's ready to paint upon. Okay. So just sit it down. Take your time. And paint the whole hand. And I'm going to say it again, the longer you spend, the better it's going to look. Because it's very, very true. Now this kind of reminds me of Spider-Man because it's a red hand, and that's really cool. Because if you let your hand dry, you can actually go back and draw on the web. You can go back and draw on eyes, whatever you want. And just for an example, I'm going to do that, okay? So I'm going to set that in there. Okay. And I can stick on these goggly eyes just for fun. Okay? Now you don't have to do this. You can do whatever way you like. You could draw the Incredible Hulk hand. You could draw rainbows, anything. It's really up to you. Now, when you come to present this, I love to tie a fishing gut to them and hang them from the wall. Always looks really good. And when everybody's done one together, a bunch of them look fantastic. So I'm going to just glue them on like that. Okay, I'll do this little finger and then I'm coming to the end. Okay, so there we have it. Looks like a monster hand, but you can do whatever you wish. Okay, so thank you for stopping by and watching my activities, and hope to see you again. Thank you.